Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, at least 4 persons killed as fresh violence erupts between farmers and herdsmen over land dispute in Mambila Plateau, Taraba State. Parents of schoolgirls abducted by insurgents from college in Dapchi, Yobe State allege neglect, say that no one's talking to them. Federal government seeks more international collaboration in tackling irregular migration, pledges military respect for human rights in the fight against terrorism. And at least 36 persons killed following Turkish airstrikes targeting pro-Syrian government troops in Afrin, northern Syria.
On business news tonight, federal government to launch economic recovery and growth plan focused laboratories expected to generate $24 billion investments for the country.
And in sports news, video assistant referees set to be used at this year's FIFA World Cup in Russia after the International Football Association Board voted to approve the technology.
We begin tonight in Taraba State, northeast of Nigeria, where fresh violence has reportedly erupted between farmers and herdsmen on the Mambila Plateau, leading to the death of at least 4 persons. Several houses and other valuables are also said to have been burnt by the warring factions, with both sides recording casualties. It was gathered that the incident was triggered by a dispute over land, but the State Police Command and the government officials are yet to make any statement on the latest crisis. The incident is coming despite the Operation Cat Race, recently launched by the Nigerian army to tackle the series of violent clashes in some states in the region, including Taraba. Security personnel are said to have been drafted to the area to stop the clashes, which started on Thursday at Ngoroje village before spreading to Jakarta and other areas. In June last year, violent clashes in the area between farmers and herdsmen led to the destruction of properties and thousands of people rendered homeless, with many lives lost, the number of which remains the subject of controversy. And staying in the northeast, but this time in Yobe State, the people of Dapchi community are still struggling to cope with the reality of the abduction of 110 schoolgirls currently held hostage by Boko Haram insurgents. Parents of the missing schoolgirls are vehemently complaining of lack of information and care from government on the whereabouts and the situation of their daughters.
It's still a sad moment for the people of Dapchi community in Yobe State, 13 days after the abduction of 110 schoolgirls from the Government Science and Technical School. Although business activities are gradually picking up in the troubled town, groups continue to reflect on the abduction saga at different gatherings. Relatives, friends and sympathizers continue to troop out to share in the pain of the parents of the abducted girls. But it seems prayers remain their only source of consolation.
We are really sad, but the cause of our religious commitment would leave everything to God Almighty. But the truth is, we are seriously hurt, and only seeing the girls will heal us. We are calling on government to team up and work together for the release of the girls. We appreciate the prayers of all and will look forward to seeing our girls return.
One of the parents told Channels Television that he and other parents are still traumatized and calls on the federal government to help speed up the rescue mission.
My call to federal government is to make its effort to see that they rescue the students from those Boko Haram militants, to bring them back to their parents and to their sisters. Because my sister that I adopted, she is very precious and obeyed to me. After I lost her, I feel a very, very difficult condition up to now.
Another resident of Dapchi, Dr. Abubakar Kago, wants security operatives to be honest and proactive in prosecuting the war against Boko Haram.
Give them hope. Talk to them. Update them. Let them know that you are doing the needful. And let them know that there is a concerted effort that is being made. to rescue the girls.
Back to the school. The compound is still empty without teachers and surviving students despite the expiration of the one-week closure. But security operatives are seen taking position in the premises, guiding just the structures. Channels Television gathered that academic activities have also been paralyzed in other schools in Dapchi town, a situation that is obviously a setback to the academic calendar. But then, their safety comes first before every other thing.
In the meantime, the federal government is expressing strong commitment to the full and efficient implementation of the provisions of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Jeffrey Onyema, says that a number of human rights-related bills have been passed into law by the National Assembly. According to him, these include the Anti-Torture Act 2017, the Comprehensive Treatment and Care for Victims of Gunshot Act 2017, and the National Senior Citizens Center Act 2017. The minister explains that the federal government has set up a mechanism to ensure that the military operates within the confines of the rules of engagement in the fight against insurgency. He was speaking at the 37th session of the Human Rights Council in Geneva, Switzerland.
Nigeria has launched a national action plan for preventing and countering violent extremism, with particular focus on strengthening institutions and coordination in preventing and countering violent extremism, strengthening the rule of law, access to justice and human rights, engaging communities and building resilience, and integrating strategic communication. Furthermore, we have set up a judicial commission to review the compliance of the armed forces with the ethos and obligations of human rights, as well as applicable rules of engagement, especially in local conflicts and in the ongoing fight against terrorism. A delegation from Nigeria recently went to Libya to interface with the authorities, with a view to ensuring that Nigerian and other migrants are duly protected and treated with dignity. In this regard, we emphasize the need for global synergy and cooperation in addressing the ugly incidents of human trafficking, as well as the plight of migrants across the world.
As the news of Awada Obosi killing in Anambra State, where a man slaughtered his 4 children and his 18-year-old maid last week, gradually fades out, there is yet another bizarre killing coming from Azimuku village, another community in Indemili North local government area of the state. A 27-year-old man has allegedly killed his father with a knife and nearly stabbed his mum to death. The young man, Mr. Ifeanyi, who is a commercial motorcyclist, has been arrested. The Anambra State Police Commissioner, Garba Umar, told Channels Television that the efforts are ongoing to rid the state of criminal activities.
The peace and tranquility of Izimuku village in Idemili North local government area of Anambra State has been disturbed by the death of a father in the hands of his own son. His compound is deserted, with few sympathizers hanging around bewildered at the ugly development. Late Mr. Joseph Ugwejofo, a businessman who resides in Onitsha, had his life cut short by his own son over his failure to give him the money he requested for. His wife, who was also stabbed, recounts the sad experience.
This was started to abuse again, that I'll go and collect money from the father. I say, have patience. Then this boy, he just rush inside and come out. What I see for him father? Bam, here. I shout to run, make I go call people. He carry another one like this, shoot, and the man will have wound here now. And I say, waiting, before they shout me, they go, can my own shoot me.
After killing his father, the 27-year-old Ifeanyi Ogwejofo, who didn't feel any sense of remorse, was arrested by the police. Worried by the situation and some others happening in the state, the Anambra State Police Commissioner, Garba Umar, issued a 21-day ultimatum to individuals, vigilante and neighborhood watch groups in possession of prohibited firearms to surrender them to his office in line with a directive by the Inspector General of Police.
In all the 21 local government areas in the state currently possessing and using such prohibited or illegal firearms of all categories and the like for whatever purposes are hereby warned and given 21 days to surrender them to the Commissioner of Police, Anambra State Police Command.
The police chief is also soliciting the support of all law-abiding and peace-loving people in Anambra to help enforce the directive. Even though the Awada Obosi killing was done with a knife, he says the suspected killer will be made to face the wrath of the law.
To politics now. Eligible voters in Edo State today cast their votes for their choice candidates in all the 18 local government areas and 192 wards in the state. 10 political parties took part in the exercise, but the main opposition, People's Democratic Party, the PDP in the state, boycotted the elections and has already filed a suit in court challenging the conduct of the exercise by the state electoral body.
The 2018 local government election kicks off across the 192 wards in Edo State as the State Independent Electoral Commission (EDSEC) conducts elections for chairmanship and councillorship positions. Voting started belatedly across many polling centres as a result of low turnout of electorate and late arrival of election materials.
The poll is going on smoothly. As for materials, we got them, and as soon as we arrived here, voting started in earnest. Mind you, accreditation and voting was done simultaneously.
The governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, and his deputy, Philip Shaibu, who were part of the exercise in their respective polling units, expressed satisfaction with the turnout of voters.
This is 12:30, and voting started since 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning, and you still see crowds here.
With what I've seen, it shows that even when it's almost one-sided, people are still interested in casting their vote.
Some of the voters also speak on the conduct of the polls.
With this new policy of accreditation and voting, then people don't have any reason to hang around. So I just casted my vote now, and that is what people have been doing, walking in. It's a free-for-all exercise.
We are so comfortable in this place. No quarrel, no fighting, no all those disturbance over here, and I like such a thing.
Although the People's Democratic Party, PDP, boycotted the election, this All Progressives Congress APC lawmaker insists that the main opposition party must have known the odds were against them.
The only thing is PDP didn't participate, probably because they knew that they were definitely going to lose, and they no longer have a huge followership in Edo.
Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police, Edo State, Johnson Kokuma, who monitors the voting process, assures the citizens of security agencies' commitment to a H-free exercise.
Assigned some men strictly and essentially for escort duties. So by the time results are out from the ward collation centers to local government collation centers, and of course to the EDSEC secretariat, we have enough of policemen who are to provide escorts.
With elections concluded, it's the hope of residents that the incoming chairmen and councillors will meet their expectations.
In part two, after the break, more concerns as death toll from Lassa fever continues to rise in the country. Please stay with us.